Hi, how's everything? All right, hope you're doing well. My name's Bruce, and this is my little area in the forest, classroom. Kind of you gotta call it something, so that's what I'm calling it. Anyway, and thanks for watching. Thanks for dropping by. If you're familiar, you'll know that I like to talk about three things. I'd like to talk about a person, I talk about a thing, and I like to talk about an idea. All right, so first off, just bear with me for 1 second. Here we go. We'll talk about the thing. Okay, the thing today is because I'm in the forest and I spend a lot of time in the woods biking and stuff like that, something comes in handy is this. This is, see if it focuses, there we go. This is 30% Muscal insect repellent. It says it's good for 8 hours, but I don't know. And this is the stuff that works. And if you're buying insect repellent and it does not say DEET, D-E-E-T, don't bother. That's pretty much the reality. It tends to not be effective. And my first experience with DEET was in more than 40 years ago, 45 years ago or something, and it worked for me then, works for me now. I'm all on board with it. By the way, you know, I don't get anything. I don't get free bug repellent. I don't get money. I don't get anything. So, but this is just something that I buy. I like to keep one at hand, and maybe 6 or 7 in reserve at all times, because, you know, there you go. Oh, and one of the things that I do is I get together with a group of people around here, and we maintain the mountain bike trails, and maintaining mountain bike trails means that you're in the forest, you're deep in the forest, you got shovels, you got a group of people, you got this tool called a Rogue, and one thing that accompanies you is a complete array of insects. We got mosquitoes, we got black flies, we got everything. And the hardcore guys that do this, they're much more actively and aggressively than I do. They actually will like dip their hat in this stuff, because it works, and after a while you find it's kind of necessary. Okay, that's that. All right, now I'm going to talk about the person. Okay, and I don't know, I don't make scripts, so I kind of I have an idea what I like to say, and then I just kind of wing it. Bear with, for good and for bad. Okay, so a long time ago, I was in high school, and in our high school we had a practice government, a model parliament it was called, and I was the leader of one of the political parties, actually a couple times, because if you recall back to an earlier video, I told a little story about my friend, who I didn't even know he's my friend, Jimmy Whalen, and Jimmy said, hey, that guy there, he's the talker. And Jimmy said of himself, I'm the fighter in this moment, and it was entirely appropriate, and certainly thank you very much, Jimmy, again. But I'm in high school, model parliament, the government. It was fun. Went on for about 3 days. The entire school would come, and there'd be like 1,200 people in the large double gymnasium, and it was basically a laugh, but it was a useful exercise in educating on democracy. Okay. Then, just checking my head. I tried different lenses with these, so, you know, what the heck. Anyway, so that. Then a bit of time after the model parliament was over in school, I get a phone call from this guy, and he says, we'd like you to come to our annual convention. And it was the annual convention of the New Democratic Party of the province that I lived in. I said, okay. So, heck, it was a weekend, and I'm a kid. What I know, I mean, I'm pretty excited about a weekend away from home, a weekend where you can kind of pretend to be an adult there and have a lot of fun. And I assure you, I did have a lot of fun. Now, as part of this this convention, conventions have dinners, and there was a dinner. So I get seated. I'm sitting with this at a table. There was 8 of us at the table, me and 7 other people. And there was this one guy that people were making kind of I don't want to say a fuss over, but his presence was the topic of conversation. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. Okay, I did not understand. Okay, now who was this guy? Well, I had dinner with Tommy Douglas. Now, Tommy Douglas is Kiefer Sutherland's grandfather. Okay, if you're a Kiefer Sutherland person, he was Shirley Douglas's husband, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but one thing he definitely was an entertaining guy, I'll tell you, from the 3 hours that I spent sitting with him. And let me tell you, he had stories. You want to talk about stories? This guy had stories. But the long and the short of it is he was credited, and he's the father of Medicare in Canada. So at various instances in my life and in the life of almost every person I know, that when it's necessary that we seek medical attention and we go to the hospital or we go to the doctor, we go wherever, well then one thing's for certain is that when we're leaving, the bill is zero. No one's stopping you at the door and asking you to pay or handing you an invoice, or that just does not happen. Thank you, Tommy Douglas. And a little bit of an aside is to say that not only is there no bill, but the level of care that you do receive is top level, period. In my experience, the experience of everybody that I know, that's it. Now, is it possible to improve upon something? You can improve anything, okay? But in the context of this conversation, the Canadian medical system, ACES. And thank you very much, Tommy Douglas. And me as how old was I at the time? 16, 15, 17. I was one of those numbers. Having dinner with a guy that I never met before. I mean, there was other people at the table, but I had opportunity to, bend his ear for a while, and eventually I figured out that I should just shut up and listen. That was it. So there you go. So Tommy Douglas, the father of Canadian our current medical system, credited with this. Thank you very much. Rightly so. Okay, now moving it along. You might have been following, so you know that I talk about the 3 entities in society, and you can please, if you leave a comment or a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want, explain to me why I'm wrong. And these are not my ideas. The 3 entities: the individual, the business, the firm, and government. Okay, so left to our own devices, people want to be happy. You don't need a lot of direction to move yourself towards whatever it is that you happen to enjoy. You might happen to enjoy working. You might happen to enjoy, I keep talking about eating ice cream. It's kind of a bit of a self-deprecation, I guess, but it's true. I do like ice cream. You don't need a lot of prodding. People look after themselves. Then business. Talked about the role of business. Businesses exist to make a profit. Full stop, period. That's why they are there. Okay. The next one. Government. Government exists to maximize the well-being of everybody. Maximize welfare in society. The implementation of rules, regulations, incentive, government expenditures, government taxations, the tools that government has. So government exists, the purpose is to maximize the welfare of society. Okay? Now, where can that go wrong? Well, in our system of government, we have elected officials. In many systems of government throughout the world, there's elected officials. And one notion that I have personally, and exists in our country, is that no one has a monopoly on good ideas, and no one has a monopoly on making mistakes. really. And but the thing about mistakes is that they tend to work themselves out. And the thing about good ideas is, given time, they have a way of percolating and making their way to the surface and finding in the fore. But the premise of this is that the people in government, our officials, they have to be on board with the whole plan. Okay? So there's the understanding that our elected officials are going to act to execute that job. Whether sometimes they don't really know what it is that their job is. I mean, they don't enunciate it in such a way, but by default, you know, they wake up one morning and lo and behold, they're in some version of power, and their, you know, human innate goodness takes over, and they try to do their level best. Okay, they try to do their level best. They are in office because they want to do this. What I've been saying is they want to maximize the well-being of society. Okay, where does this go wrong? Is when sometimes you'll have people in authority, and the reason why they're in authority is because they want to be in authority. They want to exercise their authority to aggrandize themselves, to enhance the personal wealth of their family, to enhance their personal wealth, to congratulate friends, all this stuff, and that is that's not good. And the great thing about a democratic world, a democratic system, a democratic country, is that you truly have a mechanism to move forward and alter things, and that's really, really, really great. Okay, so government, maximize the well-being of society. Okay, and I talked about I've been going on about it, is this idea of the production possibility frontier, the production possibility curve. I've been discussing criteria. So make decisions where we're going to, you know, use criteria that is evolving. I don't want to say flexible, because you don't change your horse midstream, and just because an idea is not, or a criteria is not convenient for you, you don't change it for that reason. But you do as our human knowledge expands, our understanding of the impacts that we have upon the world and upon each other is modified, and so our criteria changes. Okay, so right now it's been evolved, moving towards this for a number of decades, but we recognize that a real threat to the well-being of our world is anthropogenic, man-made emissions, okay, things that we dump into the atmosphere. And I was just talking about insect repellent, okay, so it's a little bit maybe that's not the greatest, but well, the propellants in the cans have certainly changed. But anyway, okay, climate disruption, that's real, that's important, and that is an overhanging criteria, because our world is in a version of equilibrium, okay? A balance of things in the planet, and that equilibrium is relatively stable, but at the same time it's fragile and is influenced by the things that we do. Okay? So if we push, then you get to a tipping point, boom, off the cliff, precipice, heading towards badness. But we have knowledge, and we can amend our criteria and evolve our criteria away from emissions. Okay, so human energy has been moving away from carbon for a long time now, and moving away from carbon is really, really, really good. Hey, it is. Period. So if somebody wants to elicit an example of this idea of utility and some utility that they use in their lives or that their community uses that is presently dependent on carbon and they can't see a pathway to making a change, I assure you that there is a pathway. A pathway will emerge. There's a few examples that I can enumerate that it's the pathway is not as abundantly clear as we would like it to be, but a pathway does exist. And in general, okay, carbon is bad, electricity is awesome. There you are. And criteria evolves, and human beings are going to try to be happy. So please, happiness is good. Ever-expanding scope of human wants and needs, that's real. Don't thumbs down on your friends and neighbors. I mean, don't impinge on their quest for a fruitful life. And that's it. That's the nut and the short of it today. And I hope that you find this stuff somewhat entertaining, amusing. Find it something. There you go. But wow, Tommy Douglas. It was a pretty good dinner, and his stories were kind of great. It was a long time ago, and I'm relatively happy to have had that experience. There you go. Anyway, my name's Bruce. This is my little thing in the woods, and sharing it with a lot of insects today. A little bit of rain, and I hope your day's going well. Okay, bye now.